We are back at Cloverdale Arena for the latest edition of the Cloverdale Colts U18A2 highlights show. We'll be looking at the penultimate game of the season today against the Moody A1 team. Second last game of the season for the Colts as their playoff in the President's Series winds down. This will be the fourth time these two teams have met. They met 3 times during league play, with Port Moody winning 2 of those games by 3-1 and 3-2 scores, and Cloverdale beating Port Moody in the other game in a 1-0 game. So lots of defensive battles between these two teams this year, and we can probably expect another one here tonight. See the Colts here on our screen in their blue jerseys. Port Moody will be down on the left side in white jerseys. The Colts are without 4 players today. They are down forwards Tyler and Jesse, and they'll also be down defensemen Carnveer and Lyndon Cameron. So 9 forwards and 4D for the Colts here tonight. Max getting the start in net. So let's head to those highlights. Port Moody's going to get the first chance of this game off a face-off in the offensive zone. The winger is going to be able to come in and get unchecked, throw the puck on net, but Max gets low and makes a save, and the rebound goes harmlessly to the corner. Colts now on the forecheck. Arjun trying to get around that player, and he's going to get tripped up. So that's going to send the Colts to the power play. It wasn't the most effective power play in the history of hockey, but they did get this one chance as this puck gets worked over to Riley, who's going to throw it on net from the point with a screen, but the goalie makes a save and directs it to the corner. And now it's going to be the Colts' turn to take a penalty as we see Seth on the forecheck down low in the corner, and he's going to get his arm wrapped around that player and give him a bit of a tug. It's going to be a holding penalty for Seth. So Port Moody to the power play, and they do a good job of drawing the forecheckers high and then going low. And there's 4 players in front of the net. Eventually that's going to come loose to the player on the periphery on the right side, and he's going to find a way to slide that in on the short side. Port Moody has a power play goal, and they're up 1-0. Penalty troubles are going to continue. Here the Colts are making an ill-advised change while on the breakout, and then the player stepping out on the ice does the cardinal sin of touching the puck right after stepping on the ice. Typically, you would want to leave that alone, knowing that your person you're replacing has not had a chance to come off the ice. So Port Moody to the power play again, slide that towards the net. The rebound lays loose in the crease, and the player who's standing in there just slides it into the empty net. It's now 2-0 for Port Moody after 2 power play goals. Colts are looking to cut the lead in half before this period ends. Just 2 minutes, 40 seconds left in the first. Zach's going to delay around that player and take a shot on net. And then he's going to get the pass in front. And he's got a good look from right in front, but he shovels that into the stomach area of the Port Moody goalie. A little bit later, here's Bryson, and that shot's just going to go wide, but it's going to bounce off the half wall. It's going to get thrown out front by Jackson. And again, Zach gets another crack at it, but he can't get it to go past the goaltender. So with time winding down, just 20 seconds left, this puck's going to go through. It looks like Riley has a chance at it, but he swings and misses at it, and the Port Moody player gets a good shot off, but Max makes a save. So after the next face-off after that, with just a second or 2 left, a nice tip on net, but again, Max does well to come out and challenge that player, and he's able to cut down the angle and make a save as the period ends, 2-0 for Port Moody. And the period's going to start with the Colts on the attack. Here we see Jackson in behind the net, pick up the loose puck, and he gets run from behind into the wall. That is going to be a 2-minute boarding penalty for Port Moody. But unfortunately, that's going to be an injury to Jackson. He is going to return for the odd shift here and there, but is forced to leave the game before the third period is over. And the Colts don't capitalize on that power play, but here shortly after the penalty is over, they're on the attack, trying to produce a puck off the forecheck, and it's going to get put up the wall, and Zach's going to come racing back, and he's going to get a cross-check into that player's back. So now the Colts are going to go to the penalty kill again, and they've had no success killing penalties early in the game, so they're going to have to be sharp here. And there's a nice save from Max, and then he has to slide across the other way to make sure that they can't bring the puck in from the short side. And then you're going to see a penalty call you don't see very often. There you see Mitchell block a puck at center, and then the Port Moody player steps on his stick, and that's going to be a tripping penalty. Pretty standard there, but the ref's going to discuss it. And as you see the coach coming on the ice for the Port Moody player who was injured falling into the wall. And so the referee is going to assess a 5-minute major for tripping. Not a call you're going to see very often, but due to the injury, he deemed that a 5-minute penalty was warranted. So to the power play, you're going to see a good chance from Port Moody down low. Nice save by Max. They're going to work it around again in behind the net, and they're going to look for that player coming in from the point. He double clutches on it, but the player does get the rebound and direct it on net, and Max makes a save there as well. And the power play continues. Being 5 minutes, there's lots of time for it to keep working around. And they're going to put that puck out in front, deflected on net by the player in the net front, but Max dives across and gets his leg on it. So power play continuing again, and this time it's going to end up down low and covered, and there's going to be a battle in front of the net, and you can see the defenseman come in and then take a shot to the face, and then an additional one at the end, and that's going to be a penalty to the Port Moody player that's going to take them off the power play and make this a 4-on-4 game. So here we go, 4-on-4. Arjun's going to come down. He's going to push that around the defender, go in on net, try to poke it. Looks like he has a space 5 hole, but the goaltender makes contact first before he can slip it through there. Here's one last chance for the Colts. On a turnover by Port Moody, Jordan throws it at the net. Seth's in front. He deflects it towards the goalie, but he keeps it out. So it's 2-0 still as we head to the third. And here's Seth again. He's winding around the outside. He throws that on net, and there's a rebound for Lyndon Fraser in front. And it looks like he hits that lower pad off the goalie and goes wide. It goes back out to the point to Orson, throws it on net. And this time Trevor gets a crack at the rebound, but he's unable to convert. The Colts continue to be well positioned in this third period for rebounds. There's a point shot from Orson that comes right out to Seth, pulls it to the forehand, and then a block by the Port Moody defender. And this net front traffic continues to threaten to pay off for the Colts as Trevor knocks that point shot down from Patrick and then gets a backhander on net, and the goalie's toe makes the save, and it's still 2-0. And after all that net front pressure, it's going to be a chance off the rush that ultimately converts for the Colts. It's a nice pass from Lyndon Fraser across to Noah, and he puts it up over the glove, and with 3:27 left on the clock, the Colts are back in this one. It's now 2-1. And while 3:27 seems late in the game, remember last game the Colts were down a goal with a minute left in that game and ended up winning 3-2, scoring 2 goals in the last minute. But they were unable to pull off the unlikely comeback 2 games in a row as we see the clock wind down. Port Moody is going to get this crack at the empty net and miss it after it's tipped by Orson, but it remains a 2-1 decision for Port Moody. So another close game with Port Moody, but ultimately a loss. A good effort, though, by the Colts, having been with 9 forwards to start and then losing Jackson to injury and Mitchell to ejection due to the 5-minute tripping penalty. So you see Noah with the goal, Orson and Lyndon Fraser with the assists, and a fine outing for Max, 27 saves on the night. So let's have a look at the overall stats. See Noah now up to 24 goals on this season, good for 4th place on the team. So let's have a look at the standings now. Colts having played the most games of any team, so that puts them up in 3rd place having played those games, but the lack of sportsmanship points, losing theirs again tonight for a pretty innocuous trip, has kept them a little farther down the standings. And with 1 game left here against Richmond, they have been eliminated from the President's Series, but we will be there for that last game.